Welcome to Hypnosis Health Info. I'm Roger Moore and welcome to Slender for Life. I often talk about how childhood obesity is a scourge on our society, and that it's, to me, just shameful that we have allowed a preventable and a reversible disease such as childhood obesity to be inflicted upon our kids. And Dr. John McDougall talks about how it's downright child abuse, and I fully support him in that notion, and I totally agree with that. And a good friend and colleague, Kelly Woods up in Mount Vernon, emailed me an article last night that's titled, "Overweight and Obese Kids Are in Denial About Their Weight," CDC says. And this is from the LA Times Science Now, July 24th of 2014, and this is August 22nd of 2014. And it reads that 81% of American boys and 71% of American girls who are overweight think their body size is about right. More than 1/3 of obese kids in the U.S. judge their weight to be just fine. Body size misperception among kids is helping to fuel the nation's childhood obesity crises, CDC says. New government data suggests a non-medical cause of America's childhood obesity crisis. It's denial. Overall, 30.2% of the kids gave an answer that wasn't in line with their actual body mass index, according to the report from the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. That corresponds to about 9.1 million American kids who have the wrong idea about their weight status. Roughly 20% of these kids had a healthy weight but mistakenly thought they were either too thin or too fat. But the overwhelming majority were lowballing their weight. All of this matters because overweight and obese kids aren't likely to slim down if they think their weight is just fine. Kids who are overweight or obese are likely to carry those extra pounds with them into adulthood, leading to a host of health problems that up to $19,000 in extra medical costs over a lifetime. Parents can also be wrong about the weight status of their kids. A 2012 study in the Archives of Pediatrics and Adolescent Medicine reported that about 2/3 of low-income mothers incorrectly believe their toddler's weight too small. Last month, researchers from UC San Diego and Brown University reported that 31% of parents whose children were being treated in a hospital obesity clinic thought their kids' health was excellent or very good. You know, folks, in many ways this is really hard for me to understand and comprehend. You may know that I grew up a fat, chubby kid. So, 55 plus years ago, being fat, being obese was abnormal. Today it's normal. 65% of the U.S. population is overweight. That's our norm, and that is also sad because that is reversible and it's preventable. It's lifestyle choices that we've made. And I remember what it was like being the oddball, the odd duck. The one who got teased all the time for being fatty, the one who wasn't chosen to be on teams, and the last one to be able to do anything physically because I was fat, I was overweight, and I couldn't keep up with the other kids. And nobody wanted me on their team, and I totally get that, I totally understand that, and I'm not saying that because I'm looking for pity or sympathy or anything like that. I'm just stating the fact of that's how it was for me. And I hated it. And my mom and I, we'd do things like grapefruit diets, and I remember some other odd diets that we did, but of course, like any diet, it lasted a few days, and then out came the bowl of ice cream or the chocolate chip cookies or whatever, and the diet was all over. And throughout my life, anytime I dieted, I could follow, as long as I followed the diet, I could do deprivation and I could take weight off. And of course, once the diet was over, I always put as much or more weight back on. But folks, there is hope. There is the possibility of change. It was about 19 years ago at this point, where I weighed a little over 260 pounds, right at 260 pounds. This morning I weighed 142 pounds. And at that point in my life, when I topped out at 260, I had given up. I figured there was no hope for me and assumed I was going to continue ballooning up from there. It wasn't long after that I got serious about my training as a clinical hypnotherapist, volunteered to be the subject for a weight loss demonstration, and it was with the attitude of, yeah, right, I'll show you. We had a kid as an instructor. I had been learning hypnosis on my own, reading about it, using it with clients for years, but I had not been formally certified, and that's what I was there for, was to be formally certified. I believed in hypnosis, but I didn't think anything would work for me in my weight. And so I went up there, sat there, went through it, and very much the attitude of that I'll show you. And but things started changing in my life. I changed my eating habits, started eating slower, started eating less, started leaving food on my plate. And it became really easy to give up the foods that make people fat and sick. It became really easy to let go of having any desire at all for beef and pork and chicken and fish. And one that I'd never ever thought I could give up was ice cream and cheese. And it became really, really easy to have a large amount of no desire for any dairy products, yogurt, cheese, ice cream, milk, and butter, and sour cream, and cream sauces. Just zero desire. And I ended up with a large amount of desire for plant-based foods, for starches, for the whole grains, the foods that feed fuel your brain, foods that fuel your body, a wonderful desire for vegetables and fruit. And as a result, I lost over 115 pounds. I went from being a total couch potato to where I'm physically active. Did another 20-mile bike ride this morning. That's pretty common for me. Often I do 100 or more, but most days I'll do about 20 miles. And I do lots of hiking, backpacking, so it's just a complete change in my lifestyle. That's what's possible for you if you're overweight, for your kids if they're overweight, is to make those lifestyle changes, and it can be really easy. Now, when it comes to childhood obesity, weight loss absolutely has to be a family affair. You can't have a 10 or 12-year-old trying to follow a healthy eating strategy when the parents are taking them to McDonald's or bringing home buckets of KFC or bringing home frozen packaged meals, or the other kids in the family are eating Snickers bars. And it does require that the whole family get involved and support the person or the individuals that are overweight and wanting to change that. So one of the things that I learned years ago was to make sure that when I work with kids and weight loss, that I get the family involved. Now, if you have a child or children that are overweight, or if you're overweight yourself, and are ready to make a lifestyle change that truly allows you to become slender for the rest of your life, then please give me a call at 206-903-1232 or send me an email, roger@hypnosishealthinfo.com. And I'm happy to set up a no-charge consultation here in my Bainbridge Island office, or over in Forks when I'm over there, or downtown in the Medical Dental Building, downtown Seattle. And if you live too far away from Puget Sound, then I have the Hypnosis Health Info Internet office. I have clients in several states and several countries around the world that I coach with health and wellness issues, and teach them the tools that allow them to make the lifestyle changes to improve their health. So give me a call, send me an email, and let me know how to support you. Let's put an end to childhood obesity. We can do that. I'm Roger Moore, and this is Hypnosis Health Info.